map now with Ye playing that Clove on it pretty consistently. But also, we have to say Corrode, I thought was their strongest map. They took G2 down on that map. I think their defense side showed so much depth. So I like to see that they're headed there for map number 2.
This is going to be a tough one, but you can see Potter motivating the troops as always, Athena. But we need to see some new ideas here for sure.
Yeah, we need to see. Wait, why are you giggling?
Well, I was just going to say, because she has the individual handshakes with everyone, and she did a little like baseball bat swing with Icy. I found out Icy actually played ball.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
That's
so
really
it's like
cool.
actual lore there with her and him.
That's really cool. He's going to knock the ball out of the park. But when it goes into Lotus, what I'm expecting to see, we heard the coach actually talking about how they wanted to play a little bit more aggressively. They wanted to have their fundamentals down. That's everything that we were talking about for EG, but the aggression, that is such a big thing because especially comps-wise, if you don't have that chamber, I really want to know how they're going to manage to push themselves forward into that.
Yeah, honestly, I think that what's going to be really telling here is what we get out of the agent select for Evil Geniuses. Here, of course, what we're seeing on Lotus, pretty much standard business there. Zelsis is going to be doing a lot of work over on that C side, holding it down with the Vice utility. They got a lot of options as well with the Raze on movement, but let's see what EG cooks up here.
Yeah, this is what we're waiting on.
Whoa.
It is going to be Derek still on the Tejo. Now,
this
makes sense. Like, Potter did say in an interview that the chamber wasn't something they were planning on playing for a long time, but I think after faltering on this map the previous time they played it versus C9, people were maybe doubting that composition, and Derek's going to have to prove why Tejo fits in.
Yeah, I feel like we really need to be convinced because earlier in the green room we were talking and you didn't believe me when I said chamber wasn't going to be played, and you were right, unfortunately. But I think they really have to prove Tejo. They really need to show us why they keep picking him into this comp.
Well, folks, let's jump into the action, shall we? Map 1's underway. We're going to bring it over to your casters. This is a duo of Vogless. Yeah, that works.
Thanks so much, guys. I think for Sentinels, the story has been told, and we know what their outcome is. We know that they're making it to playoffs. We know that they're going to Paris. And while there may still be aspirations, Vance, to make sure they walk in as the #1 seed, for Evil Geniuses, the story has not been finished yet.
Exactly. We still don't know what the outcome's going to be. At least if you're following the pages of how it started for Stage 2 for Evil Geniuses, though, it hasn't been the best of stories. When they win, it's kind of scrappy. But when they lose, they're getting owned. So hopefully they set up some sort of course correction in the past week to have a good showing against the Sentinels today. But now we have an opportunity to start things off on Lotus. I mean, they talked about at the desk, Derek coming back here as a Tejo. But I think if you're looking at the map veto, it still kind of looks pretty good for EG and hopeful in that sense. Because you talked about Narrate. He said that EG's been playing like a one comp kind of thing, experiencing on other ones. And it's exactly on Lotus and Corrode. So hopefully EG comes out with all stops today.
We will have to figure something out here. You mentioned Lotus has this opening map in the best of 3, Corrode, and then if needed, the dessert will be bind. EG on the attacking side looking to pen a bit of a strong opening here on the pistol.
Samsung SSD. Load up fast with Samsung SSDs in this pistol round as EG on the attack. We talked about the slow playstyle for EG at the very beginning, but they are looking for information quite earlier on. Double drone coming through on both sides and inserts all over the place. So you're hoping to find the information, force the rotates early. Already from the reaction from Sentinels after seeing that drone from that Tejo, they're focusing a little bit more on the extremities on both sides though. Good reads coming in from the defensive end.
Yeah, so far a tap at the door from Evil Geniuses to suggest a threat may lie there, and so far it is not a red herring, it is not a fake. That is where they are headed. Got a couple of bits of Vice utility to kind of keep them at bay and dissuade them. But you do have a couple of options if you do want to split towards B.
It's definitely the insert from Derek on that side, but he's definitely going to be the late lurk coming through. So that pressure's coming in towards that A side first. Good stalls coming in from Zelsis, but the clothesline from Icy to open up the A side for EG.
He had nowhere to go, got caught in a precarious spot. And now Evil Geniuses can accelerate. A tap of the spike just enough, but not committing. They're calling it out. They're headed back B.
Sentinels are still staying very patient. They kind of want to give up this spot even if they've lost Zelsis in that first place because Zekin still has the pain shells. So they still have great utility for a flood retake. But look at Derek's position.
Yeah, they're already ahead of it. They might know where it's headed. Narrate, snappy with it. The pistol looks so damn good.
Derek cleaned up in the end. Very nice for Sentinels to start the pistol round with what was mentioned at the desk before. Narrate, utility is very good to find information for the team, but when he's got to shoot, he has stepped up to the plate literally in this stage for the team of Sentinels, finding his groove, finding his spot. And unfortunately here for the side of EG, faltering to the slow play style in the mid-round towards the end. 13 seconds before they actually commit into a site take. And even if you have this lurk coming on Derek's side of this Tejo, he's so far behind within the action. So you kind of have to land your shots. The protocols weren't there for EG, as Narrate's able to pick them all up. No plans, full classic round for EG, only a Sheriff for Ye. Everybody's congregated on this seaside mount control.
And Pang's gonna get pushed off this angle, has to TP away. While Icy trying to push the pace at least a bit. You mentioned it though, Vans, with the lack of any guns they may have, I think it's a tough ask.
Yeah, this is super safe for EG. I think it's nice for them to pressure out with the util that they have within this round to take control of Mound, take Icy onto an orb. This is very standard EG as well. Going to a full eco where you know the odds are against you because you can't go for a force buy. You at least can maximize something, a silver lining into your round. Now maybe trying to look for a couple of picks, a 5-man squad right into an A site, try to guarantee a plant is another little check mark that you want here for the attack set of EG.
Relying on the strengthening numbers, but again, if Narrate's just going to be getting kills like that through walls and positions that he probably shouldn't, that just makes this formula significantly more difficult to solve.
Should be easy pickings too.
Yeah, I don't see that slowing down anytime soon. Narrate already has his ult online. 7-0, if I'm not mistaken, to kick off this series.
And a flawless on top of that. Only Narrate has to rebuy armor within the next round. And for EG, couldn't cross that line, but you're seeing at least something here that EG is trying to do. The slow style that they have with the Tejo is that second salvo that you kind of have here on your side is really to try to help you scale up for some sort of split in the future towards this A site so that nobody could swing out unbreakable. So we'll keep an eye on that in the later rounds here as EG are still trying to cook up and find some rounds here on their attack side. Remember, they played this composition against C9, lost that one, didn't have that many rounds on the attack to play with as it got shut down by the defensive side of Sentinels. Of C9. They're hoping that Sentinels don't do that this time around, but Ye's already heavily injured into their gun round versus Sentinels' bonus.
Second flushed out, having to pay a little bit further up. But the spike is once again back towards A. And once again, they will have to reckon, they will have to dance with all of Zelsis. Well, never mind. Scratch the utility. Zelsis already popped.
That's all the util down. And it seems as though Narrate wants to move in here for a hero play.
And he has the ult, remember that. A blistering pace from him to kick off this map. And the position to play spoiler once more. But once again, clotheslined.
You really do now. EG's in such a good position. Oh, until actually a good delay happening as John Cutie drops Nature.
This will buy you a little bit of space to work with as Derek once again on this late lurk in through B. Spike managed to go down. Sentinels full eyes forward. They're going to have to dance around this one way that now dissipates, and now they have a little bit more space to play. But Derek strikes at just the right time.
Last two looks like they still want to commit for a bit. Make it expensive now for EG. Trying to clear out the back of that site, but yeah, that late lurk at least that has been attempted by EG from that pistol round bears fruition into this round here, the gun round that they have versus Sentinels bonus. And that's an early tell already that Sentinels could start taking advantage of and learning into the later rounds in these post plans. Because remember, Derek playing as his Tejo, there's no refreshable onto the salvo, so you can't really play that distance. So it's on EG's job within that site to stay alive and not play as passively. Use that util for that second wave to stop the floods from coming through from Sentinels so that Derek could get value off these flanks.
Yeah, I think one of the things I'm most excited to see is the Evil Geniuses brand of Valorant, if you will, is that there's constantly an additional layer to it. Once you think you have something solved, they throw in an extra wrinkle. And I'm me personally, Vance, I'm excited to see what that looks like around Derek's timings.
Yes.
Where he's going to take his pathings. How does he continue to be the thing that you cannot forget if you are Sentinels?
Exactly. I think if I think about EG, it's always about what they cook up on these trap plays for pistol rounds or even off timeouts. Potter's been very successful into those ones, but now you also have to make sure that you have full control from your IGL of nature, and you don't have to count on these timeouts all the time. And as we continue this round number 4, Sentinels and EG are looking for a little bit of a battle for mount control once again. The drone actually will not get Zekin, so he'll still have full util they could use to deny your push on the C side. Prowler comes through, and it's just, again, the name of the game. EG's holding the default towards the spawn. on both extremities.
Remember, Celsius is close by. That's a brutal headache. Brother, that does not feel good. Celsius will best the A on the opposite side of the map, but Mound is not relinquished.
Look at that. A minute down, and Derek has no util left. It's up to the rest of the team right now to regain potentially the rubble control, as looks like Icy is going on a hunt and trying to find some information here. But just one paint shells. Look at how he pulls Sentinels on that side.
Well, I think it was a couple of things. It was this paint shells, but then it was also the spit.
Yeah.
The spit out from Supa, where Bang normally plays on half wall, drew the rotations over. EG are going to try to find a timing here, but once again, they're going to have to flirt with all of this Vice utility.
A wall contact play. It's the best thing you can do right now. And as soon as you figure out that wall, I mean, it's all going to get stopped.
Brother, the wall is the problem. But they all clear it, all at the right time, in sync in their approach. But Celsius has not been dealt with. 3 on the round for him as Derek finally puts his fire out. Icy playing really far up, trying to scale out and catch a timing, and it's successful. 3 for the duelist. Bang's left alone. A 1v2 as he tries to retake this side on his own. A Bulldog in hand. Full belt of utility to play around. But he has to play this patiently. He has to play this perfectly. First smoke out to suggest that might be where he's coming from. And I don't think Icy knows. He's been good. That's 4 for him.
Big round coming out from Icy. For sure a home run in terms of the re-hit for EG into that C site. And I thought everything was going to get slowed down by Celsius utility. As soon as that wall comes up, you still had the Razor Vines on the floor. But maybe the satchel from Icy across breaks it, or at least somebody was looking towards that ground, because if you're looking at this retake right here from Celsius, already EG was all spread across that C site. And there was no way here for the aggressive positions on that defense from Sentinels to hold up that push.
Well, one of the things that we saw there that eluded Evil Geniuses the last time they played was finding success on scaling into spawn after getting the site. That was a massive problem for them last time. And I think that's a big win condition in how they like to approach the attack rounds. And if Icy's already doing things like that, it bodes well.
It's a good call. Players pushing towards the spawn in the pulse plant. Also players flanking in the pulse plant to cut these rotates over from Sentinels. Right now we're still kind of guessing here what the playbook is for EG. As a change of pace this time around. A little bit more aggression coming out from EG side. 4 players focusing on that mound. Showstopper available for Icy as well. And they kind of just want to push and prod to see where that defensive line could be. And by walking through this orb, well, they know now that Celsius is once again set up towards the C site. Will they want to continue for a re-hit? May seem to be the case. Because if you're looking at this minimap, nobody really has full control of this A rubble yet. Nobody has listened for information. Nature's even all the way up towards that C site for the second Prowler. So the next thing really to try to clear towards rubble is Derek with the drone.
Bring them down.
There's that second Prowler you were looking for. And the eye, too. But they're not biting on this.
Oh.
They do not believe the lie that they're trying to spin.
Left.
Right now, thankfully, it's just both initiators showing their util. Nobody's really made noise, and this time, we're focusing on a split towards A.
That's plenty of noise. Icy pops the ult, and Nature assassinates him. The rocket never goes off. Narrate holds the line. Looking to stand and deliver once more as Evil Geniuses try to brute force their way out. No other options, nowhere to go.
One enemy remaining.
But Sentinels extinguish the fire once more.
Viper down.
Nature will get a consolation prize at the end there, a parting gift, but what a hold from Sen City.
I don't know if I'm watching EG or if I'm watching Fnatic at this point. Another 10-second hit coming out on their side where it comes to a Hail Mary play. The idea is there to try to move in with the showstopper, but Narrate once again, that position at the staircase really shut them down. Even when he was caught with util around the corner, the Nightfall was good enough to win that second duel right here against Ye.
Quick track of that. We're going into round 6, by the way. He's had 2 ults already. Yeah. That's not too shabby.
Nice,
9
boys.
and 3 for
boys.
him.
Let's go.
And Evil Geniuses will call a timeout.
Also comes down to what Sentinels are doing, understanding here the pacing of this round, the pacing of this matchup. When Narrate's popping off the way that he is, you want to make sure that you maximize him being able to get diffuses or whatnot as well.
Oh, 1000%. Feed the beast.
Looks like Potter has a lot to say to the team. So the first few pages of the book seems to be working out a bit, where since the rifle round, they have been finding a little bit of value, but as soon as they lose a little bit of that econ, they want to make sure here that they still have full control of the attack side. So far, though, I think the plague right now for EG is the 10-second hits. They probably have to activate a little bit more. Sentinels on their end have not been as aggressive for rubble control, and when they actually show themselves towards that C mound, everything towards the mid round is actually quite passive. It gives a chance for EG to maybe group up here to go for more of these death balls and hits, just like they're trying to do right now, but maybe add a little bit more seconds into those hits.
Viper wall up towards A, the Spike and everyone else on the attack side B. An area of the map that they have not really explored. Also note, Derek went off of his ult. Chance to inject a little chaos into this situation. The contact up is not gonna work, bro. Not with Zekken shooting like that.
Unfortunately, no second player to really swing out immediately right after. That's the issue coming in on EG. I mean, the idea is still quite nice to walk contact in front of the B main, because Sentinels haven't really been anchoring players in that spot, or trying to find information early on that side, because they've always been playing towards C mount pressure. Now this is a timeout that unfortunately is gonna hurt here for the side of EG. Taken advantage of by Sentinels, and just by the pure fragging power that Zekken brings here for the team.
I mean, Zekken, Bang too, getting that kill towards A main. This Surgeon Scalpel is sharp.
We got 40 seconds left. This has to be one of those moments where you just have to save your weapon. Unfortunately, nature can't, and already Derek's been spotted.
Yeah, I don't feel good about him saving this weapon. I'm not gonna lie to you.
And that's what I'm talking about. There's util, there's ping pongs, there's 180 flanks. Sentinels are looking much cleaner right now on these fights. Even when we talked about Derek being one away of the ult within that last round, Elise has it this time over.
Yeah, though, I mean, do you dare invest it in what is likely going to be a busted buy?
That would be the EG way, to be honest.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Right now with Icy, I mean, you do have a composition that allows that as well. Ye can assert himself a little bit more with more speed here, playing his Clove. Icy double satchels with a Bucky. And starting off again with some more B side control. A Haunt also shows that nobody's pressuring on that side of Sentinels, at least on that mound.
It's the same attempt they just tried in the previous round. Remember last time Zekken played spoiler on this contact up? They're going to try it again.
Yeah.
And Zekken's here again. This time the dog, the salvo's the satchel through. Yay, hits an insane shot onto Zekken, and now they have room to work B.
Great on Icy to break the crosshair placement, being the selfless player pushing him through the spawn this time around too.
Narrate controlling things on the other side. That paranoia from Bang is on the money. It's creeping forward now. They have fully pushed through B, fully pushed into their spawn, and are now trying to get back A. But Narrate here. Nature will fall. Icy trying to hold the line, playing on the other side of smoke. The barrel will betray Bang. Very well done from EG so far, but the job is not finished. Narrate is still the final boss that has to be dealt with. Tucking in the smoke. Derek committing to the plant. And remember that ult could be the trump card here. Narrate finds the first. Ye pops his own. Forcing the fight back into Narrate's lap. Shot's not connecting on the swing. Ye gets 4 as EG steal the round away.
And you're able to do that without using the Armageddon on the side of Derek. Again, it came down to those two players that actually invested into a buy. Them being Icy and Ye. The satchels across, he's 13 HP. As Zekken is trying to hunt him down while he's flying across that B site. And that gives all that gap for Ye to push towards that spawn, and we just talked about that. Pushing towards that spawn and cutting rotate seems to be another win con coming in for EG. And it works in wonders in the lower buy that they had. Closing that gap, narrowing it down by 1 round again to tie up this first half of the series.
Brother went from Yoi to Ye in 1 round. He was 0-5 going into that series, or into that round, excuse me.
And play like he's Chamber. That's 4 shared rounds that he's gotten right there. 4 shared kills rather, and EG back towards that C-mount control, Armageddon, and also Nightfall. These are huge ult to take over the C site.
A massive swing from the previous round too.
Yeah. The only thing right now for Sentinels, though, is they could allow for themselves to play a little bit more softer on the outside C-mount because they have 2 big ults for the retake.
And Narrate, excuse me, is 1 off of his, and that's another massive retake attempt. Cool.
That's why none of them are towards the C site.
Man getting flushed. There's Nightfall. And the spit delays everything.
Oof. That haunt's gonna hurt too. That spots both players on that side, so you could definitely lean into this CB control here for the side of Sentinels. I think it's gonna have to come up to a lurk here on the side of Superman. Armageddon opened up the C site.
Brother, but a lurk when you're down to 3 in a 3v4 doesn't feel great.
30 seconds
I don't
left.
know that you have the resources to really do that.
And at this point, they're all separated too.
Just looking to see if they can find any free one to tip the scales back in their favor. Nature, there's a lot of threat behind that.
Give that up.
Yep. Knows that thing in reverse. Supa tagged up too, 13 seconds left. They're gonna try to get the spike down and should succeed. Remember Derek's ult. Still a chance for that to play spoiler if he stays alive, but he's not in the right place to be. Second pops his ult, now the Armageddon. Will dissuade for just a moment, and now behind that, they can forge a path back into the site. Zekken lands a shot onto Supa. Derek and Nature side by side, looking to steal another round and tie us up, but they're overwhelmed. They're outgunned. The numbers are not in their favor. Nature forced to pull off a 1v2. Tagged up, and it goes from bad to worse. Those 6 bullets will not be enough.
It was still pretty good, though, at a player disadvantage for EG to be able to take over that B site with individual pushes. Nature jiggle peeking, seeing 2 players toward that C mound, and then also Supa pushing towards the back of that B site, spotting one more. So it allowed here for EG to set up for a pulse plant, to delay with the Armageddon, but unfortunately missing that extra piece of util to really remove that fuse off of Zekken's rocket. So as they retake the site, caught off guard, and it becomes a beautiful retake in the end. If anything also, Doug, that's twice here that I've seen Haunts in one single round get so much value for the side of Sentinels, and that really didn't allow EG to take control of this map, or the round.
Another testament to just how good Narrate is right now. That's a 3rd ult. He has online, by the way. We're still in round 9.
Yeah, he's definitely a raid boss right now for the side of Sentinels, and EG have not found any type of debuffs here to be able to overtake this. A little bit of a different look, though. Really trying to fight for this long seaside towards the bend. I mean, it's a double insert on both sides, so you are definitely looking for some sort of a buddy system. Fight for some trades, force rotates out of that, maybe has some sacrificial lambs here on the tempo that you're trying to bring on the side of EG. Sentinels just continues to play very passively this time around, letting him into the sites, trapping them as they're going for the last second executes. And this is what I'm liking here, Doug. It's 45 seconds, and it's finally looking like EG wants that a little bit more time.
Yeah, but they still haven't cleared all the spice util. Walls procced, first set of thorns has been dealt with. And so what, they try to split B, but Zekken's waiting on the other side of half wall. And now the Nightfall is going to cause even more problems. The C's back sight, not going to connect. Zelsis looking for another, and the Phantom not on the mark, but bang! In a position to strike even more. Ultimately means his demise, a 3v3 as the spike goes down. And a brief moment of respite.
Yeah, Zeken's just trying to beat them out. It's the double swing through the smoke that's going to be the big play for Sentinels.
What utility do they have? No ults to speak of. Zekken has a full set behind him. But Narrate just fully swings into his death. There's Zekken on the trade. 9 bullets left, finds his mark. Nade back up online. Yay, has to deliver in the 1v2. And he never saw him.
It's so patient what we're seeing coming out from Sentinels now. Always, it's beautiful to see how they're playing the retakes. I was talking about the double swing before here through that smoke on the A connector, just because you need those players to push some rotates out so that the Zekken can flank through the door. But it's the opposite. They play the buddy system through the door, and then the late lurk coming in from the staircase still gets value for the last kill. Right there onto Ye. Difference is right now that you want to take out of EG is that they actually executed with, what, 30 seconds left on the clock? Yeah. So it gives them a chance to really set up inside that site. And not only that, to play off the buddy system too. You saw some instant trades coming out. They played beautifully despite getting hit by the Nightfall from Narrate. But just couldn't hold the post plant in the end.
They were notably more pacey, as you mentioned. Zekken again, establishing his presence and control towards C. Yay, and IC on the other side. That Outlaw misses its mark the first time. I don't know that he's going to get a shot at the second.
If anything, it might be Zelsis that takes all the rest.
Yeah. While all attention is drawn towards Zekken, Zelsis has slipped the net.
Drone going out. Ignition.
That's a big drone. At least it spots them both, but once again, EG tempos back towards the A side. Prowler even doesn't get a deep value into the A side, but then there's that tell. Counter Prowler coming out for the side of EG. So Sentinels are prepped up for a crossfire setup to hold out towards Breakable.
Narrate on the swing. A little more beaten and battered on the other side of it. Bang is close by, has a flash.
Here's that big difference, Doug. Look at how they understood now these late lurks coming out from Derek.
Yeah.
Great position from Zekin to watch towards the front B side.
Yeah, the adaptation's already coming through. Between that and the gun difference, it's really hard to find your footing. That nade's gonna land right in Derek's lap.
Removed.
Supa doesn't get any space on the work.
One enemy remaining.
And Derek will be the last piece to fall. A flawless round for Sentinels. They're running away with this thing, Bams.
Yeah. And that's the thing, even if Zekin doesn't get the early picks, they're on to watching that front B side against Derek's lurk. The nades just puts Derek out of the full fight.
Yeah.
On what the rest of EG were trying to do here towards this A side hit. So now I feel this is a tough one. You probably have to start something different.
Clean.
Now that your lurks have been figured out, now that the late B lurk, has been figured out, you have to change that plan again.
And that's a second timeout called in the first half from EG.
And I'm okay with that, because on the side of EG, starting off on the attack side is not going to be easy against Sentinels that has been looking probably like one of the best teams, if not the best teams, arguably in Americas on this map with G2. It's going to be 50-50 on who's a fan of who to see who's the better one on that one. So looks like Potter wants to focus on at least salvaging the 4th or 5th round that they could pick up here in the first half and have a much better defensive run, as they've had good successes on defensive sides for EG on Lotus.
There are streaks of, trickles of desperation, if you will. I think, again, as we kind of ground ourselves on what the stakes are here for Evil Geniuses, if they do want a chance at making it to playoffs, this is one that you kind of have to convert.
Yes.
I mean, Sentinels have their path figured out.
Yeah.
EG is much more up in the air.
And even if you look at the strength of the schedule for EG, even if they had to play, or they're playing against Furia, who hasn't had the best of runs either for this whole year.
That's a nice way to put that.
It should be an EG win. But you can't really let just that week number 5 decide your fate, because you need this one over here to really greater your chances, and you have to wait to see what happens. Because even if you win today, it's not locked in for the side of EG.
But this is the box that they do have to try to check as best as they can.
That's why this timeout is super important for the side of EG. Already those Sentinels are taking full orb control. Zekin's one away with his ult. And him playing so well into the anchoring towards that B side, he could pop that right away. Now we're trying to set up Ye for that fight into B.
And Zekin doesn't even give it to him. Oh, there he does, and he swings out and still wins. Meanwhile, Icy gonna get a little bit of value on the other side. They have some A main control, but that's about as far as they've gotten.
Sean Cutie's watching this towards Derek. They just know. Step ahead.
Feeling a lot of that pressure. Icy with 8 HP, still gets a rocket off, still finds its mark.
Spike down B.
And that spike out of reach with an 8 in his lap will make the situation significantly more difficult. Super forced to sit back and wait. All the onus in the hands of Derek. Second rocket pop, second kill found. Super 1v2, Zekin's weak. So it's winnable.
And Zekin, Superman has pit while Zekin is very low. He's trying to find this timing through the spawn, and so far, so good.
Superman has to be the savior for Evil Geniuses right now. He has to find a way to clutch this one out. Oh, he's pathing all the way back to C.
10 seconds left.
With 10 seconds left, I mean, he's going to pit and plant. But
Pit first!
that gives a chance for now Sentinels to rotate across. The door at least is open.
Brother, that was less than a second left. But Supa's still in a position to pull this thing off. Finding cover in the pit. Sends view obfuscated. And now Supa in a position to play forward. Spots the spike, sees it's not there. Second was the weak one. He saw his bang on the other side. He has to win this one out. Can he deliver for Evil Geniuses? Can he play the villain that they need him to be? No.
You're playing against so many good seasoned players on the side of Sentinels. that for Superman, when he actually gets that first pick towards that pillar, and he doesn't see the instant trade coming out from Bang, he has to think that both players from Sentinel sides are isolated. So he plays a start move to look back towards that bend because of that door being opened earlier on that reflank, but Bang just walks through that pit, gets the backstab at low HP. And unfortunately not a round once again that gets converted off a timeout from Coach Potter.
Last round of the half. Evil Geniuses looking to speed things up towards A. Nature has his ult. Derek's close to his. Wait, that's so far back. They used an rifle from their spawn. Ye's all the way up B, but Narrate might go unchecked once more. Viper walls perpendicularly slicing their way through the hopes of Evil Geniuses. But Supa holds the line. Supa stands tall. You've dealt with Narrate, but what about Bang? Derek crumbles as well, just two left. The only two things standing between Sentinels and a 9-3 half on their map pick, Icy and Ye. Every single player falls at the hands of Bang.
It doesn't even matter which player is towards that staircase. There's going to be a multi-kill right there. Narrate for a few, Bang for the last one. And you know this spells trouble for the side of Evil Geniuses. When even a buddy system, when you have player advantage to play against one player and they always get two at once, oh, things are looking grim now for EG for the second half.
With all due respect, it has felt like things have looked grim for a little while on the side of EG. Unfortunately, they win, what, 5 rounds in a row to close out the half? 7 of the last 8 to be at a 9-3 half. We'll see if the tides turn as they turn over to defensive side. We'll be right back.
I know what you're thinking. Total glow up. What's her secret? Fine, I'll spill. I totally upgraded. With Verizon, everyone gets a free phone with any plan, even if you're already a customer, like me. Now I have Google Gemini. It's like a little glam squad in my pocket. Gemini, what eye makeup goes with this lipstick? I'd suggest a classic cat eye. Wow, setting the bar high for daycare pickup. Get in on this.
A bit of a gruesome picture painted for Evil Geniuses, painted by Evil Geniuses, really honestly painted by Sentinels, as the canvas has been anything but kind to those villains. Now they're over on the defensive side. Now you have to figure out how to reckon with Zekken on Raze, Narrate on what feels like the best he's been in his career over these last couple of weeks. Vans, this is a tough pill to swallow.
Definitely is. And when we talked about the value that EG and the successes that EG have been finding on the defensive side of Lotus, was actually when Derek dropped that 30 on that chamber, but now he's playing the Teo. And playing that Teo against Cloud9 on defense also wasn't the best. But thankfully this time around, a crossfire set up to prevent the push from Sentinels into this A-Rebel control.
I think you might be a little ahead of the thankfully here. might be a little premature, might be a little early.
There you
well
go.
Done by Icy, yeah. Little util combo there. 3/5 of the team getting in on the action. Zekken waiting behind the wall. They are going to accelerate back towards A, where both Icy and, well, never mind, not Icy, just Ye. Lies in wait. That was a ghost.
That's his 5th kill, and
Yeah.
First kill in a very long time for Ye.
That marks the second round he's gotten a kill in. Tough as that may be, John steady with the shots. Smooth with it, but Supa stands out on top. John's gonna have to do it on zone or 1v3. And fortunately for EG, the pistol goes their way.
And it was super important for Ye to win that fight, to trade off his teammate. On Icy, dropping to Zelsis right by Breakable, because if he falls as well, that's A site open, that's door that can get controlled here by Sentinels. And those players that are converged by the side of EG into Breakable, I mean, they're gonna have zero value. Turns out quite well. You saw the close smoke coming through, funneling everybody from Sentinels into the 3-player stack of EG off that rotate. And that's a great start now for their side on defense.
Little signs of life. But they have to find a way to continue to get this snowball going. I mean, a pistol is the first step of many that need to be taken.
Oh no.
That's kill traded.
Thankfully though, Nature got caught with Util in hand, but it's a seize. No lurks.
No, Narrate falls. Supa holds the line. It does not look like Sen will get away with any funny antics this time around.
At least a plant. That works out.
Sure, a little money.
Looked dangerous at the very beginning though with the wall contact play and surprising a player, but AG in a prime spot. Converting the anti-eco with by only losing one player in the process is actually quite nice. And that's off again, a very strong pistol round that allows for them to play that second round very confidently and comfortably for EG and the anti-eco.
Now, if I may inject a little bit of hope into the minds of Evil Geniuses fans, we have seen EG down pretty considerably in scores and then almost put together a really impressive comeback on a couple of different maps. And so while I'm alluding to the Corrode from a couple weeks ago, this is Lotus, a bit different, but they do seem to feel more comfortable when they feel like other people might think they're out of the fight. Yeah.
Actually, I talked about that with you in the green room. If I see EG in the lead in double digits, I'm always afraid. But if EG has to play the comeback, there's a chance. So now at least trying to convert a bonus round for the defensive side of EG. Orb control coming out of Sentinels though, and that's Zekin picking up the orb on that C sign. So far though, the only stall that you really have on the side of EG is a solo hold, very passively done by Superman towards the C mound. When you're using the early util on this right side of the map, you're giving a chance here for these players to now converge here towards B. A little bit of support from Ye to move in with Superman and try to stall that a little bit more with util.
Yeah, they're creeping up too. Wanting to take this fight, as you mentioned. Oh, that's gonna hurt. That does not feel good. Ye has to play ahead of it, and he does somehow! Gets away with 2! Criminal! I mean, utility be damned. It takes a whole army to bring him down.
And that whole army is actually heard this time by EG. So that's 3 players spamming through the smoke. The spike's down out in the open. So now you can still heavily lean towards a C-side anchoring from the 3 players of EG.
That is a problem.
30 seconds left.
That's a big problem. He's going to post up right on top of it. Supa's 87 HP will trade his 1. The numbers will go their way, and that's the bonus. EG still in the fight.
Oof, he got scary for a split second though, Doug. When I saw Spinman move over to that spot, I was like, okay, it's a great elevation spot, but they didn't really have a player to really set up for the crossfire setup because smokes were coming through from Sentinels at that end. So as the chaos resets, there was a chance there for Sentinels to move through and getting great value off the entry. But with that,
brother, like, you do everything right. You hit the C's, you hit the nade, you know where he is.
Enemy remaining.
Ye just plays that perfectly.
and with support coming out from right here, Superman, that snake bite towards that entrance really allowed Ye to get great value out of that frenzy, despite him being under heavy attack by Util.
And that will be enough for Kaplan to get involved in the conversation. EG again come out of this halftime break, winning 3 in a row and starting to bridge the gap. There's still more work to be done, though.
Yeah, I think it's time for Kaplan to talk to the team to calm things down for a bit on their end, because if you're looking at how things panned out on their defensive side, we just talked about it. One player able to win 1 versus 2, 1 versus 3, finding great timings, and they think now that they could just brute force their way and just winning duels straight off against EG. But when you're going against that side with EG, you're playing against a defensive end where they do have great utility for stalls and even trap plays with the composition that they bring. So when you're trying to brute force, maybe it'll work out on duels, but now you have to face against util on top of that. I think Sentinels needs to slow down that pacing a little bit more and maybe bait out a little bit of that utility, force EG to go for that early drone, early prowlers, and they won't have too much left here to play against Sentinels on that hit.
We'll see if they take your advice. The buy from Sentinels is shoddy at best.
May not be this round because it's a stinger buy for sure, so I could definitely think about aggression this side coming out from Sentinels. Just trying to bait out the early util. You saw that. So the haunt came through towards the A side, and they went for the fake TP for rubble control. But there's no util to answer back this time from EG. Still full arsenal on their end for Icy and for Nature.
They're speeding up towards C. And it is just Supa back here. Derek is starting to rotate over with the salvos. But Zekin has found safe passage.
Spike drop.
Oh my gosh, they're going to get the spike down.
And that's fine. Look at the amount of util you have for the pulse plant for the retake for the side of EG.
They have to flood out on the other side of this. They cannot afford to let Sentinels get cozy, get comfortable. The Stingers are going to be a massive problem here if they do not play this perfectly. But they continue to stall, they continue to wait. What's the go button? What's the spark for EG? Icy with an outlaw in hand. Again, pushed back behind the utility. Of course, they take a more passive approach. There's a couple of kills traded right at the very beginning. The spike continues to tick away. The Stinger's a problem! Narek gets 2. But Bang and Zelsis both so weak. So beaten, so battered. Supa with 3. Zelsis position given away. And Supa avoids disaster.
I mean, time?
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no! 0.39! That's about as close to avoiding disaster as you could possibly get. That is uncomfortable.
Who better than Superman to save you in the nick of time, right?
I guess. I don't think that's how they wanted that round to go, but they'll take it however they can get it.
And I agree.
Brother.
We literally just talked about the amount of util they had available here for EG to retake that side of the pulse plan when everybody from Sentinels were just kind of just anchored in that spot. But when they use that flood util, Salvo's creating space. Nobody flooded behind it. Wait, that was...
It's rare you see a round where both coaches are upset.
But doing the same moves.
Yeah. An op online for Icy here.
More synergy in the coaches than that retake from EG on that previous round, but thankfully Superman saved that round. Op in the hands of Icy.
Crosshair train on the other side of the wall. Uh-oh. They're coming for him. The rocket up close. The op now down. And now an opportunity for that to be scooped up. As Bang still trying to play around in tree. They've got Zekin so far forward. And EG push from pillar to post, now looking to retake some of that space that they lost. Derek will fall in the hands of John. Narrate on the rope. Will best the opposition. And Supa, again, is left to try to save the round.
A lot more difficult this time, though. Big ults available for Sentinels on the post plan as well. And even the more time that Superman waits, that haunt should be coming back soon. Already up as we speak about it. And a jump spot's good enough.
Just a little spit to push him back. Perfection required, demanded out of Superman here. And he's never really even given an opportunity for the plan to unfold.
And this time it was a tempo change for the side of Sentinels too. They definitely did want to go a lot faster and just break down the walls of the defense for EG on that side. But that's because they had so many big ults to work with, so they could work behind the space that Zekin could create with the showstopper. Not only does he find space, he takes down the operator. Util is perfect for tree control on the side of Sentinels as well. And you just kind of make it so difficult for EG to rotate all the way from the B and C site.
Real quick, attack side, outlaw for Zekin. That's one shot and one kill. Just like that.
And even before he gets that pick, the amount of util that was thrown for rubble control too, and how much HP does he make it out of with? I mean, he's almost full HP pretty much at this point.
And they've gained some space, but Sentinels have their intentions declared elsewhere. Supa trying to land on the satcheling rays across his screen, off the mark. and then punished for it.
Planted.
Looks like, I was going to say, looks like EG wants to be a little bit more separated here on that flank on that side, just so that you could insert one player from some damage control for the exits.
Just try to get any advantage they can, and that will certainly help. Still plenty of money on the side of Sentinels, so financially speaking, that is not a concern.
And you see the change at least, even though you've lost Zekin in that spot. He actually went on a hunt, gave the Outlaw to Zelsis. If you look at what's available for their end, there's still full util on their side, full ults rather, on that side for the side of Sentinels. So you kind of want to farm that up here for Zekin and play the long game, if needed be, to cycle these ults in your favor. He's already halfway to another showstopper after using it the previous round.
Yeah, it turns out Nature's still here.
Yep, still here.
That's 3. Okay. And so while I was just talking about how they have plenty of money and all will be okay, a little bit of damage has been done to their bottom line.
So you cast a curse yesterday, now today?
No. Don't do that.
That's just great movement mechanically once again from Zekin.
Yep.
With that pick to escape again at almost full health.
No, man, I didn't want to reload and not die.
Sorry, I mean, if you understand Vietnamese, that's a funny hot mic. That said, let's focus on this round here. Prowler early on the side of EG, though. There's no real pressure coming in from that B side already as they ulted a bit towards C. So AG already has some sort of inkling that Sentinels are going for this robo control unless they've stayed back towards that spawn a la EG style. They need to use a little bit more util for that second wave. Derek still has a drone to work with. They still have a hawk to work with as well.
And a Nightfall.
Yes.
For Nature. Oh. Well, sometimes you play Valorant, sometimes Valorant plays you. John's gonna get away. With the salvos nipping at his heels, they're gonna try to push into this pit. And they're gonna find Supa. Found by the Nightfall, satchel forward. Zekin, a little friendly fire onto Bang, and Supa continues to hold the line. It's a disaster for Sentinels.
How the hell did Supa pull that off? That's Spike now out in the open and down.
A little friendly fire helps.
Yeah, that's true. We talk about the comeback game for EG, and it's starting now. And the Econ just previously not the best for the Sentinels. But they look like they're kind of pinned. The biggest thing right now is for John Cutie to meet up with Narrate, if not a free kill, and it's the free kill instead.
So we start to turn our attention over to the next round. John's going to do his best and should succeed at carrying this Phantom into the 20th.
And I was just about to mention that Sentinels actually had a very nice little pivot to move towards that C site.
Yeah, I thought so too.
It's almost like an EG style where Nature kind of sets up. Whoever gets first contact, they'll pull out an ult and then just flood through. So it was perfectly baited by John Cutie. But as they moved towards the C site, they had a super Nightfall to spot Superman, yet once again steps up when it's needed, and he gets a 2K out of that, and even allowing this friendly fire to happen.
That one's tough.
One enemy remaining.
My ult's ready.
Everything's gonna be okay. Life will be sweet.
I don't know if that was fully confident or if that was like a self-pep talk. Sentinel still at 11. EG still trying to mount this comeback. Dicey has his ult. Derek's one off of his. And a quiet approach from the attack.
Yeah, it definitely looks like for Sentinels, you're going to want to keep it simple. You're already giving a tell that you're prowling towards that side. They're staying grouped up. You still have the Vice ult to just overtake the C site.
If they even need to use it. They might just contact out and find that nobody's home.
Yeah.
Or they will pop it. Now pushing forward.
That allows Pit to have, exactly. So you want to create that space from the Vice ult into that side, take full control of the map.
Dumped a ton of utility into spawn to make sure there's nobody flooding in behind it. They have moved up the line of scrimmage, forcing EG to play from a back foot. Nature takes a fair amount of damage, still alive though, still in a position to play. Icy has his rocket.
Yeah.
They're all huddled up in spawn, waiting for the right time to go. The Haunt just clears spawn. They can't even use it to get back out onto the site. And now, The fuse has been lit. The satchel pops. A little bit of a misfire as he doesn't fully make it out onto the site. And now he just has to jump into the pit and he just gets spammed right through. No value from the ult, but somehow still in a fight. Derek left in a 1v3. Time is of the essence. He doesn't have much of it. Sentinels get to 12.
And that's the difficult reality of EG right now, facing Sentinels when they were trailing behind by so much. Since the first half, they just need that ult cycle to come through for Sentinels to make it very difficult here for EG to really get that true comeback against the team.
That misfire from Icy Satchel really feels bad.
If anything, it's thanks also to the paranoia that was thrown on the defense, or on the post plant rather, from Bang. So the amount of util that was still available for the side of Sentinels, because they only needed to use 2 big ults to take the site, which is the Vice ult and then the pit.
Right.
When the rocket comes back, you saw paranoia, spit, nades. I mean, there's nothing here that EG could do when they were lacking util to support Icy to get value into the rocket for the retake. Beautifully done on the side of Sentinels.
For EG here, you have to have short memory. You got to forget that one.
Yep.
If you want to extend this map and postpone and delay Corrode.
And hope is still there. Still a strong buy on the side of Evil Geniuses. Armageddon available. Prowler once again. The same protocols come through for EG of what they're trying to find for information close to that minute mark, what the mid-rounding could be. They know it's it.
The story for Evil Geniuses these last couple of weeks, even in the last year, is almost but not yet. Close but not enough. And here they are attempting to mount a comeback, and they've gotten close. Can they get over the line here? Paranoia out, Satchel forward. Zekin has taken a ton of space, and now the Armageddon in play. Icy finds his mark on the Bang, but Zekin continues to be a menace, continues to be a problem. 3v3 as John goes unchecked as well. It's all onto Derek now, and he gets popped as soup as he swings from heaven. 13-8 for Sen City as they take a 1-0 series lead.
Turns out to be an easy win towards the end. I mean, it looked like EG had some sort of good control since winning that piss around on that second half. But again, as soon as you have enough in terms of the ult on your end, and also being one step ahead into these flood retake denials that they've been doing against EG, you see the result towards the end, and Sentinels look dominant now in this first map.
Yeah, they did. We talked about